Hello, everyone, and a warm welcome to my presentation on the contribution of wetlands to North Carolina's wealth and well-being. Today, I will share a bit about North Carolina's amazing wetlands. We'll explore their ecological and economic importance, their role in climate change mitigation, and how protecting them promotes equity, environmental justice, and sustainability. I will pay special attention to our state's often overlooked small and isolated wetlands, and I'll present an innovative, community-oriented strategy to redefine how we interact with our wetlands. Thank you for joining me, and let's get started. From the mountains to the coastal plains, North Carolina is home to a diverse array of wetland ecosystems, covering approximately 4 million acres, or about 12% of our state. These waterlogged landscapes can sometimes be enchanting and mysterious, or simply muddy and mucky, seemingly without charm or purpose. Wetlands can be challenging to identify, though, because not all of them may seem wet at first glance. While some, like cypress swamps here, have standing water almost year-round, others, such as valleys and small creeks, only become wet during rainy seasons or when nearby bodies of water flood into these low-lying areas. Still, they play a crucial role in the surrounding landscape. Small isolated wetlands are also known as fragmented or hidden or ephemeral wetlands, and they're often underestimated due to their size and perceived lack of connection to larger bodies of water. However, some of these wetland areas have evolved to become highly specialized environments. For example, the Mountain Bogs National Wildlife Refuge in western North Carolina safeguards a quickly vanishing ecosystem, the mountain bog. There are only about 500 acres of bogs left in North Carolina, which is particularly concerning because they support 5 endangered species found only within them, including North America's smallest turtle, the bog turtle. Throughout North Carolina's history, due to such misperceptions of their value, wetlands of all sizes have been dismissed as only useful when drained or filled for logging, construction, or agricultural purposes. But we now know there is so much more than meets the eye. Wetlands are far from being wastelands that require human intervention to become valuable and productive. So they face big challenges from urban sprawl, pollution, floods, heat waves due to climate change. And despite this, recent changes to the Clean Water Act further disregards these isolated wetlands by limiting the ability of the law to protect them and leaving approximately 2.5 million acres of small wetlands vulnerable to these threats in North Carolina alone. Yes, far from being wastelands, wetlands, like coral reefs and tropical rainforests, are among the most productive ecosystems in the world, and they offer essential resources for countless fascinating plants and animals. In fact, over 70% of North Carolina's rare and endangered species depend on wetlands for their survival, including 2,000-year-old bald cypress trees and 39 varieties of carnivorous plants, such as the rare Venus flytrap and sundews, which are only native to a few places in North Carolina. Beyond their beauty and biodiversity, wetlands are economic powerhouses. A recent study estimated the total value of wetlands to society in the United States at between 1.2 and 2.9 trillion dollars annually, primarily attributed to flood mitigation. In North Carolina, wetlands have a massive economic role, generating $3.3 billion every year through wildlife and recreational related activities. They support a $300 million commercial fishing industry, and because 90% of shellfish and finfish rely on wetlands for breeding and spawning, they are critical for providing those ecosystem services. The ongoing degradation and destruction of wetlands imperil the reliability and sustainability of this revenue. Small isolated wetlands are also especially crucial for maintaining clean water sources and mitigating flooding and pollution runoff. As nutrients, sediments, and pollutants wash across the landscape during rain or flooding events, the special soils and water chemistry of wetlands can absorb and neutralize them before they reach larger bodies of water, preventing downstream contamination. Additionally, wetlands can help replenish fresh water sources by accumulating and slowly filtering waters that could be spilling across the landscape. The Environmental Protection Agency says that just 1 acre of wetland can retain up to 1.5 million gallons of water. Wetlands protect people and property by shielding communities from the escalating effects of severe weather brought on by climate change, such as flooding, storm surges, droughts, and fire hazards. Furthermore, wetlands function as an enormous carbon sink, absorbing excess carbon dioxide from our atmosphere, and this valuable process is lost when the land is developed, and any captured carbon dioxide will be released back into the atmosphere. This again highlights the vital contribution of wetlands in safeguarding the environment, human infrastructure, and economies. You can see in the picture here that had the wetlands been left intact near this river, it's likely that the flooding in the surrounding community would not have been as severe. So how do we protect our wetlands? Well, for over 50 years, the Clean Water Act has successfully shielded the waters of the United States from pollution and other harmful changes. And until this year, wetlands of all sizes and locales received similar protections under the law. However, over many years, legal challenges ignited by debates surrounding the rights of a property owner versus the rights of a community at large have gradually undermined the laws meant to protect these crucial ecosystems. For example, in the case of Sackett versus the Environmental Protection Agency, the homeowners found themselves caught up in a legal battle and facing substantial fines for altering what the EPA said were federally protected wetlands on their property. The Sacketts, however, contended that their actions should be exempt because the wetlands on their property were not directly connected to another nearby federally protected body of water. The prolonged battle concluded in May of 2023 when the Supreme Court agreed with the Sacketts and ruled that wetlands to receive future protections must have an unbroken surface connection to another larger protected body of water. This ruling overlooks well established science and indigenous knowledge. Wetlands are never truly disconnected from other bodies of water, even if it appears that way on the surface. As exemplified by the Sackett's property shown here, often it is only human made separations that fragment and disconnect these ecosystems, and this is now causing their removal from protection under federal law. This image clearly shows that the isolation, the disconnect here was our doing. It is only a road that bisects this wetland. Our worldview can deeply affect how we perceive the dynamic of an individual's rights versus the rights of the common good. We must ask ourselves, is it the landowner's property that is disconnected from its environment, or is it us? When deciding whose rights are more important, it's crucial to consider the fairness issues that arise when private property owners can damage essential water sources that should be protected for all. The loss of wetland connectivity has far-reaching effects on communities' wealth and well-being, and these impacts disproportionately affect those with the least ability to withstand the harm. Reconnecting with wetlands involves recognizing the inherent value of these ecosystems, not only for environmental health, but also for the well-being of communities. By prioritizing the preservation of wetland connectivity, we acknowledge the shared responsibility to protect essential water sources for the benefit of all, fostering a more just and sustainable relationship between human societies and our environments. Our vision is simple. We aim to provide wetlands with a public relations makeover, intending to cultivate a mindset that recognizes their enduring significance. Our objective is to shift from a short-term utility perspective to appreciating wetlands as thriving ecosystems, rich in natural resources and beauty, contributing both to wealth and well-being. There are many strategies and tactics that we could employ to realize this vision, and I'd like to introduce an innovative approach called a common asset trust, which facilitates collaboration between the public and the private sectors, using an integrative approach which combines public trust principles with community engagement. They are founded on the idea that natural resources belong to all and should be managed for the benefit of present and future generations. Inspired by this public trust doctrine, the Vermont Common Asset Trust, known as a VCAT, serves as a model for sustainable resource management. The VCAT places the state's natural and social assets into a public trust. It charges users for extracting goods and services from the shared resources, with the dividends either returned to the public or invested for the collective benefit. This ensures the representation of interests for all, including future generations and non-human species unable to advocate for themselves. Such frameworks offer tangible benefits to both public and private sectors, moving beyond regulations to embrace a holistic approach to preserving our wetlands for our wealth and well-being. In conclusion, the Common Asset Trust stands as a beacon of collaborative stewardship, inviting us to unite in the protection of our invaluable wetlands. This innovative framework empowers individuals and communities to pool resources, fostering equitable access, environmental conservation, and social well-being. I invite you to join me in becoming a trustee of the small and often overlooked wetlands in your community. Through the establishment and support of such trusts, we can not only ensure the sustainable management of our shared resources, but pave the way for a future where wealth and well-being thrive in harmony with these vital ecosystems. Thank you very much.